What's going on, my dudes? This is Math Time with Mr. G, and today we're going to go over shape vocabulary. So I'm going to be doing a lot of talking about different shapes. I want you to pause the video a lot. Copy it in your notes so that we have these tomorrow in class, okay? So the first thing I want to do is talk about what different tick marks mean. So if I have two triangles, and then I have a single tick mark, and let's say it's 2 inches, and then there's a different triangle with the tick mark. That means that whatever this length is, this tick mark tells me that's the same over here. If there's a different length, they'll put 2 tick marks, and then let's say down here we find out it's 4. That means if the double tick mark here is 4, this is also 4. Okay? We could have triangles that are the same triangle that tell us that the other side has a tick mark. Okay? We can also do it for the angle. So let's say there's a tick mark here and a tick mark there. Whatever this angle measure is, let's say it's 30 degrees. That means that this is also 30 degrees. Okay? And then the last one is if they give you a box and an angle, that means that this angle is worth 90 degrees. So a box means 90 degrees, and that means that it's straight up and straight over. So let's talk triangles. So there's a total of 5 different triangles. So the first type is called obtuse. And an obtuse triangle means that there is at least one side that's really fat and then 2 smaller sides. These do not have to be equal, but they sometimes are. This angle right here is going to be, has to be 91 degrees to 179 degrees. So has to be fatter than the other 2. The second type that we'll see is called acute. And acute means that every single angle within the triangle has to be 89 degrees or smaller. So all 3 have to be smaller than 89 degrees. The next one is called a right triangle. And a right triangle means that one of the angles is 90 degrees. The other 2 must be 89 or less. So this is 89 or less, and this one's 89 or less, and this one is exactly 90. The next one is called an equilateral. What equilateral means is all 3 sides are the same size and all 3 angles are the exact same. So every part of it is equal. And then the last one that we are going to cover for triangles is called isosceles. So isosceles means 2 sides are the same and 1 side is different. Now for squares. I have a total of 7 types of squares. So the first one, you guessed it, is a square. A square is when all the sides are the same and all the angles are 90 degrees. A rectangle is when I have 90 degrees in all 4 corners and the opposite sides are the same length. So these 2 match and these 2 match. Some fancy textbooks might say that these 2 are parallel and these 2 are parallel, but if they're all 90, it's the same thing. The next one I want to talk about is called a rhombus. A rhombus is a square. The only difference is it is tilted on its side. So like a strong wind came and pushed the square over. So the sides are still all the same, but this angle matches with this angle, and this angle matches with this angle. None of them are 90 degrees, but all the sides are the same. The next one I want to talk about is a parallelogram. And a parallelogram is a rectangle that got pushed over on its side. So these still match, and these two still match. This angle will match this angle, and this angle will match this angle. But none of the angles of a parallelogram have 90-degree corners. The next one is a kite. A kite is kind of a square and a rectangle made a family together. These sides match, and these sides match. This angle matches with this angle, and this angle matches with this angle. So it's kind of like a rhombus and a parallelogram, but notice that parallelogram, it is the opposite side that matches, which is on a kite, it's all on top versus all on bottom. The next two I have are a right trapezoid. So a trapezoid is a four-sided figure where this is parallel with this, and then the sides don't necessarily match up. What makes it a right is that two of the angles are right angles, and then the other two are something else, okay? But this is parallel to this. So it's kind of like a parallelogram, but this line doesn't match up with this one. And then our last shape that we're going to talk about is isosceles trapezoid. So what that means is this is parallel to this, so it's still a parallelogram, but the two sides are the exact same length, meaning that this angle is the same as this angle, and the top angle matches the other top angle. Other than that, be kind to one another, ask lots of questions, and think deeply.